They tell you the greatest threat in a war zone is the man behind the rifle, the insurgent in the tree line, the IED buried in the road. But in the mountains outside Kandahar, operators from the 3rd Special Forces Group learned something else. Some enemies don't follow the rules of engagement, some contacts don't appear in the official after-action reports, and some missions get buried under layers of classification that even Freedom of Information requests can't touch. This is one of those stories. What you're about to hear comes from multiple eyewitness accounts, declassified communications logs, and a 12-page AAR that ends on page 11, with page 12 listed only as redacted, TSSCI clearance required. This is the story of Operation Iron Cave and the thing they found waiting in the dark. March 2002, Afghanistan. The war was 6 months old, but it felt like 6 years. Operation Anaconda had just ended, 17 days of brutal combat in the Shah-e-Khat Valley. Al-Qaeda was on the run, but they weren't gone. They'd melted into the cave systems that honeycombed the Afghan highlands like arteries in a body. The 3rd Special Forces Group, known by their call sign Arrowhead, was running direct action missions out of Kandahar airfield. Their job was simple: find the enemy, fix them, and finish them. They worked in 12-man teams. They operated in the dark, and they didn't leave anyone behind. On March 14th, a 4-man recon patrol from the 82nd Airborne Division went dark. They'd been tasked with surveying a cave system near a village the locals called Gar Ikuni. The translation varies depending on who you ask. Some say it means Cave of Blood. Others say Cave of the Ancient One. The patrol missed their scheduled check-in at 1800 hours, then the backup comms window at 2100 hours. By midnight, they were officially Dust 1. That's when Arrowhead got the call. The quick reaction force assembled in under 20 minutes. 8 Green Berets, full kit, night vision, thermal optics, enough firepower to level a small village. Their team leader was Staff Sergeant Marcus Vickers, a quiet, methodical operator with 3 deployments and a chest full of ribbons he never talked about. Their orders were clear: locate the missing patrol, assess the threat, and execute emergency extraction if necessary. What they found wasn't in the orders. They inserted via Chinook at 0200 hours, 6 kilometers south of the target. The LZ was cold, no enemy activity, no lights, nothing but wind and the crunch of boots on shale. The temperature had dropped to near freezing, the kind of cold that seeps through your gear and settles in your bones. The patrol moved in tactical column, no talking, hand signals only. They covered the 6 clicks in under 2 hours, moving through wadis and along ridgelines that barely showed up on their GPS units. Specialist Devin Cole, the team medic, said later that the silence was the worst part. No insects, no wind, nothing, just the sound of their own breathing inside their helmets. They reached the cave entrance at 3:47 hours. That's when they found the equipment, 4 rucksacks, laid out in a perfect line, 20 meters from the cave mouth. Intact, no blood, no scorch marks, no signs of a firefight, just 4 packs sitting in the dirt, like someone had placed them there deliberately. "That's not protocol," whispered Sergeant First Class Lynn, the communications specialist. "You don't drop your ruck, not unless you're running for your life." Vickers knelt beside one of the packs and keyed his radio. "TOC, this is Arrowhead 6. We have located patrol equipment. No sign of personnel. Preparing to enter the cave system. How copy?" The response came back broken. Static. Then an echo of Vickers' own voice, delayed by 5 seconds. "Personnel, cave system, copy." Then silence. Vickers looked at Lynn. Lynn shook his head. Comms were dead. They were on their own. The cave entrance was narrow, maybe 8 feet high, 12 feet wide. Vickers ordered a standard entry protocol: 2-man teams, thermal optics active, maintain visual contact at all times, weapons hot, rules of engagement, positive identification before firing. They moved in. The walls were smooth, too smooth, not natural erosion, tool marks. Someone or something had carved this passage by hand. The air smelled wrong, not the familiar stench of human waste or decay that every combat veteran knows. This was different, sweet, chemical, like burnt plastic mixed with rotting fruit. 30 meters in, they found the first body, Corporal David Hayes, 82nd Airborne. His plate carrier had been torn open, not cut, not blown apart, torn. The ceramic plates were shattered. His rifle was in 2 pieces, the barrel bent at an impossible angle. His dog tags were gone. "Jesus," someone whispered. "Shut it," Vickers said. "Stay sharp." They pushed deeper. The tunnel branched into 3 passages. Vickers split the team. 4 men left, 4 men center. Vickers and Cole took the right tunnel. That's when the temperature dropped. Cole said later that it happened in the space of 10 steps, from cold to freezing. His breath came out in clouds, his hands started shaking, and then he saw it on his thermal scope. A heat signature, massive, human-shaped, standing at the far end of the tunnel, facing them. But the proportions were wrong, the arms too long, the torso too broad, and the head. "Staff Sergeant," Cole whispered. "You seeing this?" Vickers raised his weapon, centered his laser on the signature's chest. "Identify yourself," he called out in Pashto, then in English. "U.S. military, show yourself, slowly." The signature didn't move. Vickers keyed his radio. "All elements, possible hostile contact, stand by." And then it moved. What came out of the shadows wasn't human. It stood 12 feet tall, maybe more. Its body was covered in red hair, not brown, not blonde. Red, dark, matted like dried blood. Its arms hung down past its knees. Its shoulders were as wide as a door frame. And its face? Vickers said later that the worst part wasn't the size. It was the face, almost human, but the jaw was too wide, the eyes too far apart, and when it opened its mouth they saw 2 rows of teeth, not fangs, just too many teeth. It was wearing something around its waist, animal hide stitched together with what looked like wire. In its right hand it held a spear, a crude, brutal thing made from a sharpened piece of rebar lashed to a wooden shaft. "Contact!" Vickers shouted. He fired. 15 rounds, center mass. Green tip, 5.56 millimeters, designed to punch through body armor. The thing stumbled, roared, and kept coming. Cole opened fire. The tunnel lit up with muzzle flashes. The sound was deafening in the confined space. Brass casings rained down on the stone floor. The creature didn't fall, it charged. Cole said it covered 20 feet in 2 seconds. He fired until his magazine was empty, dropped it, and was reaching for a fresh one when the thing was on him. It swung one massive arm and caught him across the chest. He flew backward into the cave wall. His plate carrier cracked. 3 ribs snapped like dry wood. Vickers drew his sidearm, fired point blank into the creature's face. That's when the rest of the team arrived. 8 operators, full auto, confined space. They dumped over 200 rounds into the thing before it finally dropped. It hit the ground hard, twitched once, and went still. "Cease fire!" Vickers shouted. "Cease fire!" The silence that followed was worse than the noise. They didn't wait to confirm the kill. Cole was injured, comms were down, and every instinct Vickers had was screaming at him to get out of that cave. They grabbed Cole and ran. The extraction helicopter was waiting 6 clicks south. They covered the distance in 40 minutes, half carrying Cole the entire way. By the time they reached the LZ, the sun was coming up. The official after-action report, submitted to CENTCOM on March 18th, lists the operation as successful recovery of deceased U.S. personnel, with 1 enemy combatant neutralized. But a follow-up mission was launched 6 hours later, a full platoon, Apache gunship support. When they reached the cave, the body was gone. No blood trail, no drag marks, just scorch marks on the walls and 300 spent shell casings scattered across the floor. The other 3 members of the missing patrol were found 2 days later, 15 kilometers away, alive but catatonic. They were medevaced to Landstuhl, Germany. According to their medical records, all 3 exhibited symptoms of severe psychological trauma and complete memory loss. All 3 were medically retired within 18 months. Marcus Vickers left the army in 2006. He doesn't talk about Afghanistan. Devin Cole became a paramedic in Oregon. He declined to comment for this story. But in 2008, a reporter embedded with a PRT, Provincial Reconstruction Team, interviewed a village elder near Garekuni. The elder, speaking through a translator, mentioned an old legend. "The giants," he said, "they lived here before us, before the Soviets, before the British. They do not like to be disturbed." When asked if he believed it, the elder smiled. "I have seen their footprints. I don't know what Vickers and his team encountered in that cave. Maybe it was a warlord in stolen gear. Maybe it was mass hallucination brought on by stress and sleep deprivation. Or maybe, in the forgotten corners of the world, there are things we were never meant to find, things that don't bleed, things that wait, and some files stay redacted, for a reason."